What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today we want to talk about the topic that has me a little bit concerned. Basically, what I'm talking about is that the age is kind of making investing into certain stats less valuable. And I want to show you guys why and how on two examples, really, two stat duos that we are going to take a look at. But first, I want to make you guys aware of something else. Because there is a giveaway going on, and I know some of you guys really like giveaways, so I want to show you that. It's not on my channel, but it's on Reddit, but I will still show it to you. So that's the giveaway, was posted by Scaloe a few hours ago, and it's the community event giveaway as part of the 7th anniversary. And you can basically win a senior privilege card with pretty little effort. You just have to go on the website of DH Games. There is like a newsletter, you can subscribe to that. They send you an email, you screenshot that, post it to the comments, and then you can win a senior privilege card. And actually they are giving away 10 senior privilege cards, so I guess the chances are still pretty alright. Not sure how many comments we already have, but well, a few. So you guys can check that out for yourself. Just wanted to show you guys that you will find the link to this in the description. Also, if you guys care about that, ih.dhgames.com is the website for Isle Heroes. Didn't even know about that. But that's the website for Isle Heroes now. So if you want to check that out as well, there is the link to the newsletter, and then you can see it for yourself. Okay. What I said last was that basically the age is making it less worth investing into certain stats. And what do I mean with that? Well, I kind of noticed it first when I made my armor video. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a guide about armor. I tested a whole lot of stuff. We tested super high armor, like 15,000 armor and stuff, and tested how much damage that mitigates and what the formula was and what the math was. There is a pretty good video. You can just search on YouTube for armor and Wraec, and then you will find it. And it's a good video. It's 30 minutes long, but definitely worth watching in my opinion. One of the videos on my channel that I think got way too little views, but that's another story for itself. And during that time, I took a look at different sources of armor and armor break, and what I found out was, well, we kind of have a lot of armor break in the game. And you can best see that on my wonderful Ithaca that we definitely have to make another video with. 8.3 million attack, not even an artifact equipped, by the way. And what this Ithaca has, and what makes it a little bit special, 136% armor break. You could think that I was hiding a KOG here. I am indeed not. There is 10% armor break here, but there is none anywhere else. Not on the stone, not on the skin, not on the awakening. So that is just the native armor break that a Shadow Assassin with 10% from the gear. We can also take a look at a 5-star, by the way. Ithaca has no bonus stat or passive bonus here for armor break, so it's the same here. 126% we got rid of the gear now. That an Ithaca has on my account. And 126% armor break, if you watched that video I was just talking about, 100% is the armor break cap, and it means that all armor the enemy has is ignored by the attacker. So that makes armor essentially worthless. Basically, every single assassin on my account has over 100% armor break. So they all ignore armor. Why is that the case? By the way, I can show you guys another example of this. This is like a pretty basic sire, no gear, no nothing, has 100% armor break, 102%. And the reason for that is, well, for one, galactic tree. Star spawns. Star spawns were really the first source of, well, passive stats that we saw in the game, accompanied by Celestial Island. Though Celestial Island just gives you HP and attack, Star spawns gave you other stats outside of HP and attack. And what that means is basically you get crit damage reduction, you get block, you get all of those stats from the Star spawns, and well, 2 of those star spawns now actually give armor break. First one that we got was this guy. Later on, we also got this guy. And I got a super huge roll on this guy. This is my best star spawn roll. It's green one. You can get a higher one. I think you can get 200% even. That's 163%. So basically only 2/3 of the way to the max roll. And this one gives 49% armor break, just by itself. No stat bonus yet considered. If we were to do that, stat bonus for Shadow Heroes is 50%, so all of my Shadow Heroes will get an additional 50% of that, bringing the total armor break buff for Shadow Heroes to 73.5%, if my math is correct. And that is mental. That is just insane. As I said, every 1% of armor break that we get lets us ignore 1% of armor from the enemy. So if you have 100% armor break, all armor from the enemy is ignored, it gets useless. And from just one star spawn, our Shadow Heroes get 73.5%. And all other heroes, 49%. And then we have another star spawn. We have this guy. And this guy, without any assessment here, currently he has 107%, which is rather low. Without any assessment at max level, he would give 18% armor break. So if we have like a similar role than the other guy, that's an additional 60%, bringing us from 18 at max level to 28.4. 28.4 plus the 73.5 is actually already 101.9%. So just from the 2 star spawns, we can get armor break over 100% on every single hero that we own. Not even, not every single hero that we own. The 73.5% obviously consider that we have a Shadow Hero, so that would only be on Shadow Heroes, but like we get pretty close, and that is not even considering the stat buffs. On this one, we can also get stat buffs for Shadow and Assassin here, so even more armor break. But you get the point. The point is we already get a ton of armor break just at the current moment, 16.6 and the 49. So just at like 65% armor break from those two. You can get even more, of course, with higher assessments, etc. And there are additional sources of armor break as well. We get armor break also in the treasure train. And on top of that, there is another example for that, precision and block. Precision and block have a similar problem, though not quite the same. While there is like a natural cap for armor break, it's 100%. And basically, as soon as your enemy, as you have to consider that your enemy has 100% armor break or is likely to have 100% armor break at all given points, and then you no longer want to invest into armor because it doesn't help you anyhow. So you wouldn't want to get armor break because you have 100% through stats from Treasure Train and Star Expedition, and you wouldn't want to invest into armor because your enemy has 100% armor break anyway. And the other thing is precision and block. Before we look into the Treasure Train, maybe we can take a look at that. Precision and block, when we take a look at that, is precision here and block there. And precision basically has two functions. The first function is to counter block. So if we have like 100% block and the enemy has 100% precision, that negates itself. You counter precision with block. You counter block with precision. When the enemy blocks, he takes less damage, and we can deny him that, or we can prevent that by having enough precision to counter out his block. So if our precision is higher than his block, then he won't block. If we have the same precision, that's also the case. If our precision is lower than his block, then we negate part of it and he has a chance to block. So every 1% precision negates 1% block, making it less likely for him to block. Also, precision gives us a damage buff of up to 45%. So every 1% of precision gives us a 0.3% damage buff, meaning to reach the cap of 45%, it's 45% divided by 0.3, meaning 150% precision bring us to the cap of this damage buff, not to the cap of precision though. People often confuse that. The damage buff is capped, precision isn't. That means you can have 200% precision to counter an enemy with like 200% or more block, if that is the case, if that is in existence. But basically, once you have 150% precision, you won't really invest in it anymore because, well, it'll just counter enemy block, and basically no natural enemy has over 200 as that much block, because you would need an enemy with like 250% block or 200% block to even make it worth it to go beyond that 150%, because otherwise it would just not increase your damage. So that as no PvE enemy really has that, and most people in PvP just don't run that, you would likely stop at 150% precision. And same goes for block. If you think like your enemy will likely not go beyond 150% precision, then you will stop at 250% block at the latest point. 250% block, which is insane, which is already an insane amount. But this is like the thing. Because at 250% block, you will have 100% chance to block when the enemy has 150% precision. Man, that gets to be a math video. So why is this all a problem? We get a ton of stats through star spawns, but that was kind of limited. It was already bad in terms of armor, but really bad is it now for all stats through Treasure Train. Treasure Train makes it so much worse and amplifies everything, because the Age is starting to release every single imaginable stat for every single situation through a treasure. And that devalues stats. Because once you have the precision, once you have the block, once you have the armor break, you just wouldn't want to invest in them anymore. You wouldn't want them as awakening bonus stats, you wouldn't want them as imprint, and you get all of those stats through your treasure bonus. Even at this point already, we get like armor here, we get armor break, I think for assassin there, 16.5%. And then there are even the situational buffs that we don't even see on the heroes. Like for Void Campaign, I have 22 precision here. I have holy damage, I have 23% armor break that are in here, that don't show up on the hero, that I have to consider when I play this mode. So I have there's no use in me putting on armor break. It won't increase my damage in Void Campaign, because with this armor break buff and all the other armor break buffs, my heroes will certainly be at 100%. And then we have precision, and only a matter of time till precision grows as much that I don't really have any need to invest in that anymore. And that is the same for a lot of sets. Crit is the same. Once you have 100% crit, you don't need any more. And Void, we are not at the end of Treasure Train. I mean, it sure seems like that because I have very high stats. But check out my points. Like 3,400, that's 1/3. That's less than 1/3, that's a fifth. Then we have 1/3 again. That's not even a fifth. That's a 10th of the series. That's closer to half. Okay, but you get the point. Like, we are not even close to the cap of those series. So I can get way more stats. And eventually we will reach those points where I get those 35 precision, where I get those 35% crit. And I am at 100% crit in that game mode, and in another game mode, and another game mode. And then I wouldn't even know what I would choose as imprint. So I mean, the Age from that point is in a little bit of a tricky situation. The more treasures they release, the less stats are really worth investing in, or worth considering even, because you don't need to consider armor anymore. Once you have armor break by default on 100, then it's just, well, you can just delete armor break and armor from the game because it doesn't matter anymore. And that's really becoming a problem. And the tricky situation the Age has put themselves in with Train, I think, and the changes to the star spawn assessment that they did. One way out of it, of course, is to release new stats, which is kind of weird. We have crit damage reduction, is a little bit of a newer stat, I guess. All damage reduction, all damage dealt. But I mean, every time they did that with all damage dealt, all damage reduction, and crit damage reduction, we haven't really been properly introduced to those stats, because like if you check out here, we have crit damage reduction somewhere, it isn't just not in here. Same for all damage dealt and all damage reduction, those are just not listed here. So that is a bit weird. They also don't have an icon in game. If you get an all damage dealt buff, we won't see it. So that's kind of weird. And I don't know what they are going to do about it. I'm pretty eager to hear your guys' opinion on that though. Do you think this will be a problem? I'm pretty sure it will be. What do you think the Age should do to solve that? And still, I want to thank you guys for watching. I wish you guys a great day, and we'll see us in the next one.